You hear so much about, it's all about retention and we should have retention. I look at it through the lens of slowing down the urgency of the hiring process. The more you drive retention and you get your team members to stay on and not up and leave, the less of a crisis that you have in trying to go out and find new talent and the likes. So we all know, well, when you talk about retention, easier said than done, right? Well, what drives retention? And we all know that it's an engaged associate tends to want to stay and be a part of the organization for the long haul. So what is an engaged associate? Everybody says, most associates are disengaged, and that's the reason why they leave. Well, I pulled up, when you talk about what is an engaged associate, it's an associate who works with passion and feels this profound connection with the organization. So you go, okay, Nigel, we get it, but how do we get to that level of engagement with our associates? And how important is that to preserve that retention? So I'm always reminded that people join organizations, they join companies, but eventually they land up quitting supervisors and managers, because that drives the importance of leadership. What are we doing as leaders to truly nurture our associates so that they stay with us and they don't look elsewhere and go elsewhere while they're on their path with us? So what I wanted to share with you today was Gallup, who does tremendous amounts of surveys, and they're always surveying, especially associates, on what makes associates want to be satisfied and loyal and the likes. But there was a very interesting question that Gallup asked, and it says, based upon all of the survey data, what do followers truly look for in their leaders to drive that engagement that I just talked about? And it's really interesting. They boiled it down into 4 basic needs or categories. And I wanted to share them with you. The first was compassion. They wanted to make sure that their leaders had a very high level of compassion that was integrated into the job's expectations as well. Second was trust. Do I trust my leader? Does my leader have my back? The third is stability. Does my leader exude stability within his leadership or her leadership style, or stability within the organization? And last but not the least, does my leader inspire hope? And I sat back, and as I reflected on these 4 categories, I looked at it through the lens of the pandemic and how important and how critical these 4 basic needs are today more than ever before, where associates, while they have more questions than answers around the pandemic and what's occurring and what's happening on the business side, they want to make sure that their leader that's with them is showcasing a fair level of compassion, trust, stability, and inspiring hope with them. And that's really the key to the war for talent. I also wanted to showcase, and I've shared this with all of our leaders within our company, is when it comes to leadership, what is that really all about? And it's the ability to foster that environment for our associates that inspires them to create sustainable growth. So you go, okay, I get it, but what exactly that's all about? So as you scale an organization, Grand Pacific is really on this growth path where we are getting new resorts. As we continue to scale, it's not just scaling the organization with new resorts, but it's scaling the organization's capacity for caring. It's our capacity for influence with our team members so that they want to come to work each day and they want to do great things. So, one of the things I share with my team is my personal vision for our team is when we are successful as leaders is when our associates want to tap dance to work each day. And they can't wait to get to work. And, it's tough work. It's long hours of work. But then at the end of the day, when they're driving home, when they're going home, they go, oh my gosh, that was hard work, but boy, I enjoyed being there and how I was treated and how I was recognized and how I felt valued. That's the core part of leadership in terms of how do you engender the organization's capacity for caring and influence around those areas.